Alright everyone, how's it going? My name is Alex, welcome to the Alexo channel, and this is a review of the new Beach House album, 7. What? Sorry guys, we are not reviewing Beach House today. This is actually a review of the new Lil Nas EP, 7. By now you should at least have some idea of who Lil Nas X is. His breakout single, Old Town Road, the controversy surrounding its place on the country charts, and then its return to the country charts once the Billy Ray Cyrus feature was put onto the song, has basically been impossible to get away from, and it is absolutely dominating all charts right now. At the time of this review, it is still number 1, and as a result, the anticipation for an EP from Lil Nas X has never been higher. And if you don't know, Lil Nas X is a very young rapper. I think he's 2 years younger than me. And he makes a lot of fun, kind of memey trap music, and this is his most recent and most popular experiment with trap music, Old Town Road, which is a country rap fusion. Honestly, I actually enjoy Old Town Road quite a bit. Sure, the whole thing is getting just a bit old by now, and I really don't go out of my way to listen to it anymore, but when it came out, and even now, I still do get a little bit of enjoyment out of it, and I find it to be a very fun track. However, due to the circumstances that led up to Old Town Road becoming so popular, I've always been very suspicious of Lil Nas X's talent, fame, and whether it was just a fluke and would fall apart once we got to hear another song from the guy. Before listening to this EP, I hadn't heard anything else that Lil Nas X has put out, but judging by song titles like Thanos, Blow It, and Sonic Shit, I was very suspicious that this was just going to showcase this EP at least was going to showcase that Lil Nas X was a little bit of a one-hit wonder and wasn't going to have very far to go after that single. Also, this EP, as far as I could tell, wasn't being promoted very much despite following Lil Nas X on most of his social media. As far as I knew up to like 3 days ago, that the only thing we were getting was the second song on this as a single, which was Panini. And these 5 songs that dropped kind of came out of nowhere for me. These other 5 songs, in addition to the other 2, making this a 7-song EP, hence the name 7. Now, the EP opens up with the Billy Ray Cyrus remix of Old Town Road, and like I said, I do enjoy it. Lil Nas X's verse is goofy, the refrain is catchy and fun, the beat is hard-hitting, simple but addictive, and I especially love Lil Nas X's confidence and fake southern twang on the song. It just seems to reflect this growing cultural appreciation, or if not appreciation, then awareness of cowboy culture that has been popping up in albums like Mitski's Be the Cowboy, Mac DeMarco's Here Comes the Cowboy, Red Dead Redemption 2, all of the cowboy imagery that Solange was using on her last album, and now this. Now, the Billy Ray Cyrus feature isn't mind-blowing or anything on this album, but what it does do is it does fill out the song, make it more of a full song, and makes it less of a sketch like the original Lil Nas X only song was. I'm not a huge fan of what Billy Ray Cyrus is saying on that. It kind of seems like he's trying to combine the cliches of country and rap into one country singing kind of rapping type verse, and the results are a little bit mixed. It's a little bit cringy at times, but I do think that overall this is a stronger song than the original Old Town Road, and even though it's not a masterpiece or anything like that, I do enjoy it quite a bit. Like I said earlier though, this next song on the EP, the second song on the EP, Panini, is the only other song I thought I was going to be hearing from Lil Nas X for now. I guess maybe I just wasn't paying good enough attention to his social media, but when I saw, and I was looking at his Twitter and his Instagram, all I saw was things promoting this song, and that kind of made this, or makes this song, kind of moment of truth for Lil Nas X. I say that because this is the first song that most people are going to hear by Lil Nas X that isn't Old Town Road, and it's also his first step into a more serious song. It's not a country rap fusion like Old Town Road was, and it's more of a Travis Scott psychedelic trap type of song, and it seems to take a stab at the people who were watching Lil Nas X come up, and then as soon as he blew up, they kind of abandoned him or just decided not to like him anymore just because of how many fans he has now. And for me, this was, like I said, a moment of truth, because this was the moment where Lil Nas X was either going to show promise and make it or break it. Honestly, I like the song quite a bit. It's also not a masterpiece, just like Old Town Road's not a masterpiece, but I really like the way that Lil Nas X interpolates that Nirvana sample. I like the auto-tune effects that makes his voice kind of sound a little bit indebted to Travis Scott, but not a copy of Travis Scott. And I do like, even though it is a very well-treaded piece of lyric topic writing, I do like the way that Lil Nas X makes it personal to him and makes it kind of interesting, especially with the very weird couplet of "Hey Panini, don't be such a meanie." That sounds really lame, if we're going to be honest, but it's not. I actually think that in the context of the song and the way that Lil Nas X delivers these lines, it's actually pretty good. So 2 songs into this EP, we have 2 pretty decent songs that I can see myself going back to from time to time. And with the case of Old Town Road, I have gone back to time and time again. And I will see myself going back to Panini. Unfortunately, after these 2 songs, the EP takes an absolute nosedive with the 3rd track. It seems to be, it's called Family, You and Me, yeah, it's called, I guess, Family, You and Me with a 9 for the A. I don't know when 9 ever was a stand-in for A, but there we are. And it seems to be Lil Nas X's first attempt to make a kind of pop rock, Fall Out Boy, Imagine Dragons anime opening type of song. It's a very bizarre combination, and it does not go over well at all. Lil Nas's personality is still there, and I can appreciate that, which is one of the biggest points on this record that I can give points to Lil Nas X's personality. But whereas his personality is there, the song and basically everything else surrounding the song is nowhere to be found. Lil Nas X's vocals sound absolutely goofy over the drum, guitar, and bass that I'm guessing are sequenced and processed and not real, or maybe the guitar is real and the drums aren't, but however they produced it, it just doesn't sound good in the slightest. And if they were not using live instrumentation for this, they really should have, because it just absolutely sucks the life out of the song the way it is and makes it sound more like a demo, an unfinished demo, than anything else. Also, the melody is bad, so even if I do appreciate what Lil Nas X's personality is trying to bring to the table, his voice isn't the most pleasant to listen to on this song just because the melody itself is not good in the slightest. It's disappointing because it clotheslines what was otherwise a pretty decent start to a debut EP. Now, Kick It, the next song on the EP, is a little bit better, but only by default because it's not a very good song either. It's another trap rap song like Panini that owes a lot to Travis Scott, but the difference here is that it's just absolutely boring. The hook and the chorus don't land in any way. The verses are completely drab. The instrumental is boring and not interesting in any way. And the lyrics are just whatever, who cares? It's lyricism that doesn't really mean anything or have to do with anything or has any personal value. It's basically just a waste of a song. Also, I guess that there's this part where live drums come in for a few bars, and the only reason why I say I guess is because I've heard this song about 8 times, and every time I re-listen to it, I go, oh yeah, there's live drums on this track. Because they're that immemorable, and they're not good in the slightest. They're not well produced, they don't sound good, and once again, this song sounds kind of like an unfinished demo that should have been fleshed out, maybe the chorus switched out, maybe something switched out, because this song just is not very good. It's better than Family, whatever, but it's more generic, so it's almost worse in a way. And then for a bit, I think that things do pick up on the 5th track, Rodeo, but there is a catch. It's another country rap track like Old Town Road, and for a while, it really starts out better than Old Town Road because the country sample is a lot more genuine. It's not a 9 Inch Nail sample this time, so it's an actual country track. I think that Lil Nas X sounds even more confident on this track. I think he's settled into his drawl even more, and it's just a lot of fun. And I especially like the swagger that he emits just throughout the track. The lyrics seem to deal with Lil Nas X offending some girl because he calls her too dependent. And while the whole way that this unfolds seems a little bit sexist, and I'm not a huge fan of that, I think the character that Lil Nas X takes on with this confident southern drawl and the swagger that he does emit from this makes the song pretty fun to listen to, and I think he pulls it off very well. Until Cardi B comes onto the track. Yeah, Cardi B has a feature on this track, the only other feature on the album other than Billy Ray Cyrus, and whereas Billy Ray Cyrus filled out the song and made it a better song, even if I do like Lil Nas X more on the track, Cardi B basically ruins the rest of the potential that this song had. Cardi just does her usual thing on this verse, not really trying to fit in the country rap style. She kind of just has talks about, oh, if I ever would have an ex, I'd rather be a widow, and talking about just weird nonsense like that has nothing to do with the concept of the song. And it's just, it doesn't sound good on the track. Cardi doesn't sound good on the track, and it just makes me want to skip the song every time. It's sad because the first minute and a half, if the momentum of that had really, I guess, followed up through the rest of the song, would be one of the highlights on this record. And I do still listen to this track up to the point where I hear, and then I'm like, it's time for the next song. Anyway, the next song, Bring You Down, it's the second last song on the EP, and it's the second attempt at a rock song, this time taking more of a grungy alternative rock type of style for the song. In my opinion, I think that he pulls this one off a lot better than Family. It kind of sounds like a song straight out of a universe in which Kid Cudi's Speeding Bullet to Heaven was actually a decent album. It's not great or anything, and I have heard a lot better songs this year in the rock genre, but I do think that Lil Nas X pulls it off relatively well with his vocals. I like the momentum that builds up throughout the track. I like his melody. I like most of the things going on here, but my problem with the track lies in the fact that it mostly sounds like a demo. Sometimes it just kind of sounds like a sketch of a song that is going to become something and would be recorded with better equipment in a better studio, but as it is, I do think it's still a decent song. Maybe not a great song, but I do think it's decent. And finally, we have the closing track, Seven Osier. I guess this is closure and the 7 is the L. Out of all the tracks on here, it's probably the best choice for a closer, but it's not a great track, even if it isn't as offensively bad as A Family, as song ruining with a feature as Rodeo, and as generic as Kick It. It's a piece of modern R&B infused pop with a driving percussion section that is very well and cleanly produced. It has a not very special vocal line by Lil Nas X, and I struggle to remember what it sounds like even after listening to this EP like 8 times. Overall, a pretty disappointing closer to the album. And with those 7 songs, we have Lil Nas X's 7. And honestly, I am conflicted. On one hand, Lil Nas X does seem like more of a singles artist, with singles like Panini and Old Town Road working on their own as genuinely fun and very good tracks. On the other hand, I did dislike over half of the songs on this record. While a little bit of this EP's relative mediocrity is owed to Cardi B on her song, that still, let's say that rules out the 1, that's still 3 out of the 7 songs that I don't like because of Lil Nas X or the way that the song sounds. And honestly, it makes this album take on an unfinished sketch and demo-like quality that doesn't really add to the aesthetic of the tracks in the slightest. It feels more like a taster to keep the hype going than a full release that is supposed to be taken super seriously. I will say that I did come out of this EP seeing more potential in Lil Nas X than before, especially due to Panini and the fact that he is willing to experiment outside of just the generic trap rap genres. He's not like a designer or anything like that, no. However, I am worried that Lil Nas X will fall down the path of a designer if he doesn't release something soon or release something that people enjoy quite a bit, because I don't see that many people gravitating to this like the way that they did Old Town Road, or maybe even the way that they'll gravitate to Panini, and even that is yet to be seen. I will say that Lil Nas X does have more promise than Designer ever did, due to the fact that he wasn't willing to be a copycat of a different artist, and the fact that he was willing to put, I guess, effort into trying to do different genres, but I'm worried nonetheless. I just hope Lil Nas X can follow this up with something a little bit more full-length, fleshed out, better produced, because I do see the promise in Old Town Road, Panini, and even Bring You Down. In the end, while Lil Nas X's 7 does show that Lil Nas X has promise, the release itself is an underwritten debut EP filled with failed genre experiments, amateurish production, and a couple good tracks, plus a song ruining feature, which is why I'm going to be giving this album a decent 4 to a very, very light 5 on a good day. And that is going to conclude my Lil Nas X 7 review. So like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things that you do on YouTube. Leave a comment on what you want me to review next. There's going to be a Two Door Cinema Club Quick Thoughts this Friday. And I hope everyone watching this has a great day. Thank you.